is February the 4th, and we are starting rates and unit rates. And we just had a little discussion on just grocery stores where this is used. Definitely buying what I'm going to call quantities of things. Now, starting out with our notes sheet. Here we go. Okay, the definition for today is unit rate. Unit rate meaning a rate that is simplified thank you. I told you could put it on your desk. That's okay. Simplified, so the denominator is 1. Okay. And I'm going to kind of, I guess you say, highlight this part. Unit rate means how much is 1. How much is 1? Here's the other thing. The word denominator. Denominator meaning it's going to be on the bottom. Okay? So starting out, we're going to take what I call larger numbers, rates, and bring them down to how much is 1. Okay. Now, I'll make this a little bit larger. Okay, so starting out, this first one, we're going to take a rate, which is what I call a big number, and we're going to put it as a unit rate for how much is 1. I'm just trying to show you what these words mean, because you got to know what to do with them. Okay. Now, starts out, they give you the ratio of 44 points in 4 quarters. That could be like football, basketball. So what they're asking you is how many points in 1 quarter. So I want you to think about this. 44 points. Okay. 44 points in 4 quarters. That's what we're going to talk about. Okay. Well, what they're wanting us to do is change it from a big rate of this to how much is 1 as a denominator. So how much in 1 quarter? Notice I've got it at the bottom. Okay. Now, this first one, I'm just showing you. I'm not we're not going to write an explanation on this first one because I want to show you. To get from this rate, which is big numbers, to this unit rate, which is 1, I want you to look at something. All it means is that we are doing what kind of math? Division. And here is why. It means 44 divided by 4. It is 11. So it is 11 points in 1 quarter. It also could be stated this way. Okay, but I don't want to scare anyone, so I'm just going to show you. You don't have to write this. If you go across making equivalent fractions, to get from a 4 to a 1, I would divide by 4. Well, if I do that on bottom, it's kind of like simplifying. If I divide the top by 4, I would get 11. I am dividing, here's the key to this, dividing to get from a rate to a unit rate. We know that when numbers are getting smaller, we're using division. Everybody good? Okay. Now, on the next one, I'm going to show you the explanation part. Here we go. It says 125 feet in 5 seconds. And you start out by listing it the way it is given to you, like the order it's given to you. Okay, now they're wanting to know a unit rate of how much is 1 second. 25. So it's 25 feet per second. Now, this is where the explanation's got to come in. You have to write a little explanation here. Okay? I didn't on the last one just because I had all that wording, that rate and unit rate. But all the explanation is, it's actually easier than yesterday. All you write is 25 feet, and we're going to use the word per second. It's actually easier because per means 1. You don't even have to write 1. You just get to write per second, which is nice. It's kind of short. Okay? Yes?
I thought we only had to write 125 over 5.
You can, but I'm going to be honest with you. And poor third period, if you're listening. I had a group earlier, third period, that we did that. We only wrote the numbers. And I'm going to tell you, when we got to some of the more difficult stuff at the bottom, they were confused. And I didn't mean for them to be confused. If you see it without the words, you're fine. And then just make sure you do that sentence in green. Okay? What happened is when we go backwards and we use a unit rate to a rate is when it was crazy. So I'm kind of taking it slow and easy. If you want to just do the numbers, that's fine. But here's the one thing I need you to see. When you are lining these up, do you notice that I've got feet straight across from feet? They're both the numerators. Then the bottom is seconds across from seconds. You cannot flip-flop each side of the fraction, or you would end up with the wrong answer. Okay, that's what kind of got the last group, or earlier today. Okay, so let's look at number 3. $9 for 3 cases of soda. Well, you tell me. 1 case of soda would be how much? $3. Okay, so does that... I mean, to me that sounds like a decent deal. Some stuff, I'll be honest, like, in my life, I've got some stuff memorized when it comes to numbers, but like cases of soda, not anymore. I'm just kind of weird like that. My mother would make fun of me that I'm talking about her right now on a video, but my mother can tell you the exact price of what a loaf of bread should be. And if that price has gone up or gone down this week, she won't buy bread this week if it's gone up 2 cents, because she knows next week it should go down 2 cents. She can tell you the same thing about toilet paper, of all things. Okay, with 4 kids, I'm just kind of scatterbrained. I don't have all that stuff memorized. Yes, there are people in the world that can tell you to the penny, nope, that's not a good deal this week, buy it next week. And it's shocking to me that I don't have that much time on my hands, I guess. I wish I did, but I don't. So, writing this as an explanation, I'm sorry, it is, okay, $3 per, there's the key word, per case. Yeah, per case or per case of soda, that's fine. Per being the key word. Yeah. Okay. Now, number 4 is where you got to kind of start getting a little more picky because it's got more words to it, okay? It says, there we go. Okay. It says, for Caroline's birthday, her mom took her and 4 of her friends to a water park. Caroline's mom paid $48.50 for 5 student tickets. What was the price for 1 student ticket? Okay, so my unit rate, or what they want one of, is what? $1 or 1 ticket?
1 ticket.
1 ticket. That's what decides how you set it up. 1 ticket has got to be on the bottom. Meaning tickets over here has got to be on the bottom. It's kind of like this. If I know they want 1 ticket, it's got to be on the bottom. So that means ticket has to be on the bottom over here. I don't care how it's worded. And I know 5 tickets is $48.50. Okay, so if they had worded it backwards, it doesn't matter. Tickets had to be on the bottom because of the 1 student ticket. So I am dividing in my calculator 48.50 divided by 5. 9.7, which is $9.70. 9.7, which is $9.70.
So $9.70
per ticket. Yes. So my explanation is $9.70 per, only because they're asking how much is 1 per ticket. Per meaning 1. Explanation. Kind of like final answer. No. They're paying $48.50 for 5 kids. Okay. And once again, I do this math when I take groups to the zoo or I take a group to McWayne Center, even if it's just neighborhood kids. I just don't look at the lady taking my money and saying, well, that's a unit rate of, but I do that math. Like I'm figuring it out before I even get there. Especially if it's a big group. Now, this one is where we got to start paying attention. Once again, I'm going to kind of tell you, just for the fun of it, this is a rate. They wanted you to take it to a unit rate. They wanted you to divide to get from here to here. Okay. It's not always that way. Hint, hint. Okay. So let me show you. On the next one, it says Walnut Middle School uses 12 gallons of water per student each day. There are 450 students. How many gallons are used each day at Walnut Middle School? Now, before you start with the 500 silly comments I get from my 6th grade friends here, it's not just water fountains. I need you to think about water on this campus. Toilets. Okay. Dishes and all that good stuff too. Ice machines, all that. Okay, so here we go with the math behind it. I want you to look at what they're saying. They're saying 12 gallons of water per student. Per 1 student. Does that make sense so far? Yes. So if I just set that up, 12 gallons, and I know my 1 student has to be on bottom. It has to be the denominator. Now, they don't want 1 student. They want to know how much is what? 450 students. Now, where does 450 have to be, though? On the bottom. And this is why my wording thing, when you asked about words, earlier this got kids so confused because they didn't have words there. But if I've got student written here, and up here in this sentence it says 450 students, I have to put that on the bottom. Or my math is going to be kind of off. Yeah, backwards. Come here real quick. Just bring it over here. It's okay. So, I want you to think about it. How am I going to get from a unit rate to a rate. Now that's where we add up all the chunks. So once you find each box, then we're going to add them up. The base times the height, or base times height divided by 2. So see if you can find each box, and then in a minute we can do all the adding. I know, that's old stuff, so it's okay. Why is it multiply?
Because you're detected by them.
Okay, because it's opposite, and I want you to think about it. If I go from 1 student to 450 students,
It's a unit rate to a rate.
exactly, this is a unit rate. And we're now going what I call backwards because we're going to a rate. So we're multiplying, there's the key to the math, to get the bigger number. That's why I said bigger to unit of 1. Well, this one is smaller to a bigger. So I am multiplying 1 times what to get 450? 450. So what is 12 times 450?
5,400.
You got it. 5,400 gallons.
You don't know how much that costs.
Exactly. And that is probably normal numbers. Y'all would be surprised. When we're going unit rate to rate is when we multiply. I have to put the words, or I end up doing the wrong thing or setting my numbers up wrong. So my explanation would just be, 5,400 gallons.
Per student.
Well, it's not per student,
For students,
but how many students?
Per
For, let's be specific, right, for 450 students. And you don't even need the word per because per means 1. And you could put gallons of water. I just accidentally shortened it too much, but that's okay. Use numbers. Use words. Otherwise, they might think it's fish in a pond or flamingos in a zoo. You want to give me words. Okay. Now, keep this out. You may need it. You may not. What I'm going to do is help you get through some of this homework. It is, it's okay, I got it. Quick. It is wordy, and you kind of got to slow down and read the words. Here we go. I'm going to have to flip my paper over and do a little bit on the back. If any of you want notebook paper, be ready. There's
I was prepared. I was wondering.
We'll see.
I'm ready.
Uh-huh.
You get my work. Did you get to look at my work today?
Oh, yeah, you're good. You're good. Now,
Is it hot here? Is it here?
Kinda. I've never known if it's me or the world or whatever. 1 second. Okay. Give me a second. I'm trying.
Corey.
I did not know y'all would take it.
I thought it was just me because I was hot earlier and I wondered if I'm sick, and then I'm like, I'm not sick.
I didn't know if I looked at it or not.
I think you're good. It should kick on. That one doesn't work. That one should. Okay. Here we go. Now, this is Tuesday night's homework. If anybody should be coming. If it's not, I'll get you a copy. Okay, here is Tuesday nights. Okay, I'll pass one down 1 second. Okay, Tuesday nights. And basically what happens is when you go to write the explanation, I'm not able to fit it right there. So I'm going to probably do it on notebook paper just to make it look neater. And it's up to you. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you can do it on the back. I was kind of folding it in half like we did a couple weeks ago, but that's up to you. I'm going to show this part. Okay, and the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to do a few. I'll probably jump around just to kind of make sure we get enough covered. Number 1 says, I'm trying to get it all lined up. Okay. This is 5th period. It is Tuesday. Okay. It says, write each rate as a unit rate. So we're changing it from what I'm going to call big numbers to 1. To 1, right. So, 40.8 gallons in 8 containers. And listen, the only thing I can think of that would be that big would be like 5-gallon buckets. Like these are big containers. Okay, now, so if they're wanting us to change it to a unit rate, they're wanting to know how much is in 1 container. Keeping the container on the bottom. So, 8 divided by 8 is 1. 40.8 divided by 8 is, what is it? 5.1. Okay, so 5.1 gallons. Okay. Explanation, because I'm trying to be good about this. Here we go. 5.1 gallons per container. Make sure you have the word per. Okay. Make it where y'all can see and me write at the same time. Okay, number 2. It says 72 ounces in 6 steaks. So they must want to know how many ounces are in 1 steak. Okay. Now you're dividing top to bottom. So 72 divided by 6.
12.
I'm confused this one. For the base times, do I do that one and
Yes.
that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is what? 6 times what is 72? 12. 12. 6 times 12 is 72. So what they're saying is 12-ounce steaks, or 1 steak is 12 ounces. Okay? So my explanation. 12 ounces per steak. Per meaning 1. Okay. Number 3. It says 180 words in 3 minutes. 180 words in 3 minutes. So this might be a typing test. Maybe it's a texting test. I don't know. Okay. So they want to know how many words can this person do whatever with in 1 minute. So 3 into 18 is 6 and a 0. So 60 words. Per minute. Uh-huh.
You can change it even more in 1 word per second.
Ah, you could. You could. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to leave you 4, 5, and 6. And I'm going to jump down to 7. So I'm leaving you with 4, 5, and 6. I know I'm being silly, but I do want to see if y'all can do it. Okay. I'm going to go down to 7. This is where the weirdness kicks in. You'll see why. Okay. On 7. Let me see. 4, 5, 6. Yes, I have a little silliness inside me. Okay. On 7. Here we go. Look at what they give you and what they're looking for. It says about 17 trees are saved when 1 ton of paper is recycled. If 20 tons of paper are recycled, how many trees are saved? Explain your answer. The first ratio or rate is 17 trees per what?
A ton.
Slow down, wait a minute. 17 trees for how much? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said time. I'm sorry. Ton. 1 ton. Yes. Per ton. So, I want you to think about it this way. 1 has to go on the bottom. So, 17 trees can save 1 ton of paper. Okay? 1 ton of paper. But they're wanting us to change the 1 ton of paper to 20 tons. That means my tons has to be on bottom. So if we're changing a 1 to a 20, it's times 20. 17 times 20 is 340? 340. Okay. So they're saving 340 trees with, 340 trees will save 20 tons of paper.
It's the other way around. 20 tons of paper will save 340.
Yeah, so, wait a minute. So if we, let me put it this way. If we recycle 20 tons of paper, we're going to save 340 trees. It's kind of weird. Well, we're multiplying because these numbers are getting bigger. 1 times 20 would be 20. 17 times 20 gives me that number. So, 340 trees saved 20. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. 340 trees saved.
It's 20 tons saves 340 trees. Yeah.
I know, it's like opposite of what I'm writing. 20 tons. So the trees save the paper. So I'm going to keep my words right. The trees save the paper.
Trees are saved.
Trees are saved. That word is definitely helpful. Thank you. I knew there was something I was missing. 340 trees are saved when 20 tons of paper is recycled. Yes. Woo! That's a hard word to... It's hard to get it worded. Okay. Now I'm going to do number 8. I'm getting there. Number 8. Theo's mom bought an 8-pack of juice boxes at the store for $4. Okay. Find the unit rate for the juice boxes. So when they say that, they mean what? When they say find the unit rate.
Find the one. Like,
How much is 1, right?
yeah.
Unit rate means how much is 1 box. Okay. So, starting out, it is $4. It's okay. I'm trying to think of how to set this up. For 8 pack of juice boxes. They want to know the unit rate. So how much is 1 pack? What is $4 divided by 8?
$2.
No, listen. Y'all are putting it in the calculator wrong. Please notice. It is 4 divided by 8. 50 cents. Yes, it is 0.5. So it's 50 cents per pack.
Do we 2 or 10?
Don't use that.
Yes.
The base is that number, and the base is that number. And then the height is the arrow number. So, it means, for my, explain my reasoning or whatever, 50 cents per pack. When you are dividing, it's top divided by bottom. Okay, on 9, what it is, and you really need to watch. Quit trying to pack up or you will stay late. On 9, they are comparing 2 different classes or 2 different teachers. Please quit packing up. I was trying to be nice. Oh, okay. Number 9 says, there are 2 teachers. It says, the 24 students in Miss Willis's class sold 72 magazine subscriptions. The 28 students in Miss Sawyer's class sold 98 magazine subscriptions. Whose class sold more magazine subscriptions per student? And explain your reasoning. This is kind of like what I call a 2-step problem. We got to do 2 sets of math. Okay, so the first set is going to be Miss Willis. And I label it because if I don't, I'll forget what I'm doing later. Okay, Miss Willis's class sold 72 magazine subscriptions, and she's got 24 students. Now, to help decide the unit rate, you are now packing up. Get with me and be writing this. The unit rate is right here. They want per student, meaning 1 student has to be on the bottom. So on the other side, she has, I got to put students across from students. So her 24 students sell 72 magazine subscriptions. You're going to have to figure out how much is 1. Then you got to do Sawyer's and compare them. You tell me, you're trying to go from a 24 to a what? Smaller? Okay. But listen, you are comparing, there should be 2 sets of math right there. You still got to figure out Sawyer's math. That one's 3. Then we still got to figure out the other. Okay. Okay, so now that the group has left, I'm going to do a few more problems. Let's see here. Let me finish this one. Oh, gosh. I hope it keeps working. So, on number 9, if Miss Willis has 72 magazines, subscriptions, you get a calculator, for 24 students, then for 1 student, I'm going to do 72 divided by 24, top to bottom, guys, top to bottom, is 3. So it is, for her class, they are getting 3 magazine subscriptions per student. Okay, well this is a 2-step problem. I now have got to look at Miss Sawyer's. Miss Sawyer's class sold 98 magazine subscriptions. Keeping it on top, just like Willis's. By 28 students. Down here it says 28 students in Miss Sawyer's class. So how much did one student sell in her class? So 98 divided by 28 is 3.5. So she sold, or these kids sold 3.5 magazine subscriptions per student. I know it's weird. You can't really sell half a subscription, but it's an average, so that's why it can be a 0.5. So the last question is, whose class sold more magazine subscriptions per student? So Miss Sawyer's. Here's my explanation. Miss Sawyer's class sold it's kind of, you could write it a couple different ways. You could say she sold a half more than Miss Willis's students per student, or you could say 0.5 magazine subscriptions to Miss Willis's 3 magazine subscriptions. Per student. You could even, you can say, like, another way to explain it is that Miss Sawyer sold half more subscription per student than Miss Willis. Make sure you use people's names. You tell which is more than the other. Okay. I'm going to go down. I'm going to do number 10 next. I was just trying to see what they're all about. Let's see. Number 10. Kayla. Let's see. So number 10. Kayla spent $55.20 on gasoline to fill her 15-gallon tank. At another gas station, Kiana spent $72.80 on gasoline to fill up her 20-gallon tank. Who paid less per gallon of gasoline? Per gallon. That means gallon has to go on the bottom. So, my first one is Kayla. She spent $55.20 on a 15-gallon. So, we need to find out how much is 1 gallon for her. Then we're going to do Kiana. Kiana spent $72.80 on her 20-gallon tank. But we need to know how much is 1 gallon that she spent. Okay. Doing the math. 55.20 divided by 15 is $3.68 a gallon for what Kayla paid. Kiana paid $3.64 a gallon. Now, watch the wording, because it says who paid less per gallon. They could ask you who paid more. And explain your reasoning. So, paid less. Kiana paid less by paying $3.64 per gallon compared to Kayla paying $3.68 per gallon. Okay. And I guess I'll do 12. I don't know. I'm kind of jumping around. I don't want to do them all. I want to leave you a little challenge. Okay, on 12, it says a marathon is approximately, it says a marathon is approximately 26 miles. If Josh ran a marathon in 4 hours, at a constant rate, find how far he ran per hour and explain. What they mean by constant rate is he didn't stop and drink water. He didn't trip over a rock. He kept running at the same exact speed the whole time. Okay. They're wanting to know how far he ran per hour. Per hour means 1 hour. So 1 hour has to be on the bottom because it is our denominator. So on the other side, I got to have hours on the bottom, which means 4 hours is on this side. And in 4 hours, he ran 26 miles. Okay, so to get from 4 to 1, I'm going to use division. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 26 divided by 4 is 6.5 miles. So, explanation. Josh ran 6.5 miles per hour. Very good explanation. Okay. 13. The Shanghai, I can't say these words. Let's see. Maglev train is the fastest train in the world, traveling about 2,144 miles in 8 hours. Letter A. How many miles does it travel in 1 hour? So per hour. That means hours has to be on the bottom. And for 8 hours, it traveled 2,144 miles. So, if I divide 2,144 divided by 8, I get 268 miles per hour. So you could say your description, and this is all for kind of like letter A. Train travels 268 miles per hour. Okay. Letter B. Letter B says the distance between Columbus, Ohio, and New York City is about 560 miles. How many hours would it take the train to travel between the cities? So if it were to keep going at this speed, how long would it take for it to go to 560 miles? Now, if I set up, this is kind of like letter A, if I set up letter B, and I figured out how far it goes in 1 hour using that math, okay, what if I change the miles to 560 miles? Okay. Now, 268, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. 268 times 2 gets 536. So it's more than 2 hours, okay? Now, so what we're going to have to do is kind of use division backwards. And what we're going to do is I'm going to divide 560 divided by 268. And it is a long decimal number. So all that means is 2 hours, or 2.0895 hours, I'm just going to stop there, is how long it would take to go that many miles. So your explanation could be the train would take I don't know, 2.08 hours to travel 560 miles. Okay. And if I had set it up, if you're watching this video, it's kind of like I could have taken that and put it on the left side, taken that and put it on the right. Meaning if I had kind of done it backwards. So if 560 miles and I need to get to 268 miles, it's a little bit more obvious what to do. I'm going to have to divide to get the smaller number, and then that would be the number here. Okay, all it is you went from a rate to a unit rate. Then they want you to take your unit rate and go up to a different rate. Okay, a little different. Now, you are finishing. I have left you with a good challenge of. I have left you with 4, 5, and 6. I left you with 4, 5, 6. I left you with 11, and that is it. So, if you're watching the video, you actually have only 4 problems left for a challenge. Thank you very much for watching and trying your hardest. It will pay off in the end.